And who would have thought that LeBron James would see the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals?
I know most of you remember that 2020 bubble run the Miami Heat had. I mean, most of us didn't have much to do back then. A lot of us looked at this run and, we were surprised because they were not expected to make it even close to the finals. Now, the following year, they got swept.
Giannis fires one down and an exclamation point for Milwaukee.
Now, we all know a lot of people talk about how the Lakers won a Mickey Mouse ring and how they wouldn't have done that if COVID hadn't been a thing. And the Miami Heat, they have that sort of similar narrative floating around as though the Heat, they're known as bubble frauds. That's what they are, apparently, according to some people online. And I think they've gotten better since then. I think they got pieces that will really help them in the playoffs. But right now, we're talking about the playoffs that's coming up in a couple of weeks. We're still not sure if this team can figure it out. I mean, they're currently on a 4-game losing skid. And I know they're playing the Kings tonight, and they might win. But man, it doesn't look good right now. They're on a downward spiral, and that fight we've seen with a lot of different characters in it, man, it was such a surreal moment. You had to really pay attention. A lot of weird things happened during that day, and a lot of things were said in that court that, some people picked up on, but really a lot of people were just mystified.
What happened in the huddle?
Everybody was wondering where the dinner plans were tonight after the game.
And this is where we get to how the Heat are addressing this whole situation. I mean, downplaying it is one thing, but to not really address it as though nothing was really said, as though things weren't so serious. No, I'm pretty sure there was tension there. I'm pretty sure there's still tension in that locker room. And I'm pretty sure that's part of why the Heat have been on a losing skid. A lot of people like to say that these sort of confrontations make the team better. But what we're seeing from the Heat, they lost the next 2 games. One of them being against the Knicks at home. They got cooked by Emmanuel Quickley.
It's crazy, but it's passion. We're in a situation where we have a lot of competitive guys, and
so where's that energy on the court? Why aren't we seeing that same competitiveness? Why are we seeing some aggressiveness from some of these players on offense? I mean, let's just talk about it. A lot of what we're seeing is them being passive on offense. And I'm not talking about Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero has been sensational for them. He's their best offensive player, and he's a 6-man. Are you now beginning to see where the problem is? Where's Jimmy Butler? Why aren't we seeing games where he's closing things out? Look, he may have scored 26 points one game. He may have had a 30-point game against the Knicks. It doesn't change the fact that in fourth quarters, he's not closing. He's not being aggressive enough. And we're seeing it where he scored 5 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter against the Knicks. As a matter of fact, if you look at the last 4 games, that's the most points he scored in any fourth quarter. I mean, what's going on? This is not normal. This isn't what we expect from Butler. This is not what we've seen in the bubble. We've seen Butler closing things out in the fourth quarters. And what's worse is that he's making the offense so stagnant.
But we do have to be better. I don't think offense is that much of a problem.
Okay, when I heard this one, I thought 2 things. Okay, number one, this is, again, the Heat trying to soften the blow, trying to make sure there's not any more tension being picked up from the media to where, they're talked about even more, locker room problems become even more massive. Another thing I thought of, are you kidding me right now? Are you freaking... How is the offense not the problem? A big issue we see when Miami plays on offense is when they give it to Butler. He'll have the ball for like 10 seconds on average. And then when he does decide to pass the ball, those like 5 seconds on the clock. And it's like, what can you do with that much time? A lot of their possessions on offense is them trying to get a shot up with 2 seconds left. I mean, what's going on? There's no set plays. It's like they completely forget what the coach tell them to run. And let's just face the facts. Jimmy Butler, I know a lot of people see him as a superstar, but he is the least talented of that bunch. He does not have the talent to go up one-on-one against most guys that are, top defensive player of the year candidates. He's not that talented, and I think that's part of a problem that the Heat, they need to figure out how to run their offense better.
It's not very concerning, just because we know we got to play better. We got to find a way to score some points and then get some stops on the defensive end. We're capable of it. We've done it early on in the year, so just got to get back to that.
Now, why am I playing the clip of these players essentially saying the same thing over and over again? They're not saying anything wrong per se. They're saying what they're supposed to say, right? They're gonna sail the ship, they're gonna steer it to the right direction, and make sure that they play better on both ends. That's something that you would hope translates to winning basketball. But with the Heat, they keep saying the same thing without it translating to wins, especially lately in the last 4 games. I know them being the first seed made us think, well, perhaps they could get over the hump and not be, regarded as a bubble frauds. But right now, it just seems like they're collapsing in front of our eyes. And I cannot help but question some of the decision making this franchise has made over the last couple of years. Now, Pat Riley, he's assembled a group of guys that can roughhouse it with anybody in the league, right? These guys are tough, and practically they're dogs, man. They'll go out there and just hound you on offense and on defense, and that's their strength. But you can't just build a team on that sole basis.
I think we are at that point where we're not concerned in a sense of like panicking, but yeah, we have to fix some stuff.
Okay, finally, I appreciate somebody at least being honest. Slightly more honest than we've, come to know from this Heat presser. Now, a lot of these guys, man, it's like they're being told to keep their mouths shut, and I get it. They don't want things to spell out. But I'm really serious when I say this. This team is in dire straits right now. I don't think this team, can go that far in the playoffs with this current roster. They're not built to win games. They used to have Goran Dragic and Kendrick Nunn as their point guards for this team. Now they have Kyle Lowry, and that's about it. That's the best they can come up with right now with, the point guard position. And quite honestly, man, Kyle Lowry is declining, and you could see it when he plays games now. It's sad to see. As a Raptors fan myself, I've watched Kyle Lowry for years. We could tell that season in Tampa that the decline was beginning. That trade was about to happen. We all knew it was going to happen. Kyle Lowry just wasn't the same player after those injuries. And right now, the Heat, they traded away Precious Achiuwa, who I'm pretty sure right now would be of great help, especially if they let him shoot threes like we are at the moment in Toronto. Like guys like Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala, Derrick Jones Jr., who were pivotal parts of that 2020 bubble run, they're gone. And guess what? $118 million is being paid to 2 players in Jimmy Butler and Duncan Robinson over the next couple of years.
We're on the L4. You just continue to fight, continue to work it out. This perspective on our goals hasn't changed at all. We're continuing to get better every single day.
I was one of those people before I even made this channel that said Duncan Robinson's contract made no sense. He should not have been paid that much. What, to shoot 3-pointers? I mean, if he doesn't do that, what else can he do? You can see it on defense. He's a liability. At his height, playing the way he does on offense, he should not be a liability on that end. And the Heat, they're suffering every time he's on the floor during late stretches when they have to defend and get stops. It's really baffling that they even paid him that much money to begin with. I mean, look, at this point, give some minutes to Omer Yurtseven. I still believe in him. I think he's a stud. Dedmon be damned. He's just not that good. He's getting older. I mean, I don't even know why he still gets minutes. Was he that good? Heat fans, please tell me. Actually, don't tell me. Just watch the video right here. Omer Yurtseven. He deserves the respect he's getting right now. Okay? Even though he hasn't been playing lately. This video right here, Omer Yurtseven, he's a stud. He is an absolute monster. I love him. I love him to death. I've just noticed that, after watching this video again, I did not mention how Bam Adebayo was being stretched way too thin on defense. Yeah, that's a big deal. I don't know how I forgot that.